Hi, Joe Chiccarelli here for Safari. Today I'm going to show you the Dirty Dog Reverb plugin. I've been a big fan of Safari plugins. I love their yak delay. It's really crazy. Flamenco reverb. All the other animal plugins that Gnome has come up with at Safari are pretty great. So I was pretty excited, pretty flattered when he asked me to, design a plugin with him. And I had this idea that I often use in mixing, which is basically to distort the reverb. I'll often put a distortion plugin before the reverb plugin to add a bit more grit and power to the reverb, just so it's not so wet and washy and takes up too much room in the track. I'll give it a lot more aggression by doing that. So we went about crafting the Dirty Dog Reverb, which is just that. Basically, it's a distortion plugin, filters, a good sounding reverb, gating, there's a post drive, there's pre-delay to the reverb, all the features that you normally would use in a distortion plugin as well as in a reverb plugin. Basically what we did with the Dirty Dog Reverb plugin is we put 5 plugins in one. Everything you need to make that kind of effect. A gate, an EQ, a pre-distortion, a reverb, a post-reverb, distortion, and gating if you want to do gated snare drum effects, or if you want to clean up any noise that you're bringing up in a vocal track because of all the distortion you've added. It's pretty easy to use. Parameters are really, really simple. And the great thing is that what Safari did with the filters, they're pretty radical. So you can get a really nice, tight, bright, distorted reverb sound, or something super dark and thick that sits in the background of the record and add some weight and power to a mix. Okay, here's the plugin. What we did is pre-reverb distortion, post-reverb distortion, pre-delay for the reverb, reverb time. The great thing about it is it can go anywhere from 100 milliseconds to 3-4 seconds, so it can be a traditional reverb or a really tight, almost slap kind of sound. There's filters. They're really great for getting the extreme kind of sounds that you want. High pass, low pass really allows you to do a lot of tweaking with the overall sound. And a gate, which you can use or not. And the gate works both pre the reverb and post the reverb. So if you need to, for instance, if you're putting a snare drum in and you want that gated sound, really easy. You got a post reverb gate that you can tweak to however short you want to chop it. Works great if you're doing vocals too, if you need to clean up some of the breaths and other noises that are getting into the reverb because you've brought them all up with the distortion level. Pretty simple. Plugin also has the typical mix control, dry, wet, whatever you need. Output level control with additional gain. All of these features that I mentioned, pre-drive, reverb time, post, all can be clicked off by just hitting these little LEDs here. So you can actually use the box without the reverb or pre-delay as a distortion box. For all these demos, I have the plugin on an aux send. You can easily use it that way, or if you prefer, just use the blend control in the plugin, put it right on the insert. Let's try it on some snare drums. As you can see here, I'm using the gate to tighten up the reverb. I can push the drive into the reverb, add even more after. Pretty explosive. You can go from something pretty subtle pretty blown up. Let's pull that back in the mix. Pretty easy, right? Okay, for me, percussion in a track always want some kind of short, tight, tough sounding reverb. Something that's like a plate really clamped down short, just to give it a little ambience on a cowbell wood block. So I've got an example here. I can show you what the reverb's doing. Let's hear the percussion without any effects. Okay, now I'm going to add in the reverb. So you can see it really gives it this great, nasty ambience. Pull the filter back a little bit if it's too bright. I'm using the gate here. I don't even need it. Just cleans it up a little bit. A little bit of pre-delay. Okay, the next thing I'm going to show you is guitar. Guitar solos work so great with this kind of reverb. It just amplifies them. Here's the guitar, no reverb. Here's the reverb. So you see it really brings it to life. It adds that really great aggression. Sounds like the guitar amp in the room. Everybody likes saxophones. Distortion on a saxophone is my favorite thing in the world. Distortion in front of the reverb, the best. Let me show you what a sax sounds like with the plug-in. Pretty aggressive. We can pull it back just a crack. Maybe darken it a little bit. There we go. Okay, let me show you the plug-in on some falsetto vocals. I think it adds a really nice color to them, gives them a nice wide, bright, dirty ambience.
You can sit around and wait, counting your mistakes till you think you have a problem. You can ball up like a fist, pretend it don't exist.
They really lack the life that this plugin gives it.
We'll get out of this place no matter what it takes. And
let's go a little more, maybe a taste shorter with the reverb.
Taken a few blows, so wipe your bloody nose, get the hell out of the quicksand. The faster life comes, the shorter it stays, the longer it bends.
That's nice.
It'll break, so come on, get ready, move your feet and hold steady, or you're gonna get a beat down.
I love the way this plugin sounds on things like horns, guitar solos, percussion, snare drums. It's really where it excels. Let's hear it on a solo cello, because I think it really brings this instrument to life. Now blend in the reverb. That's the Dirty Dog Reverb plugin. Hope you dig it. Hope it puts some more energy in your mixes.